All right, recording's in progress. Okay, so what we've been doing for the last 12 weeks, I think minus a week or two where we had some special classes, Cindy and everyone else. Every week we've been going through the Mike Ferry 21-point sales system and discussing each point in the system. So we are on point 13, which is customer service, which we're going to talk about today. So I've got a list of thoughts here about customer service. Some of these you might have heard before. Well, some of these you've definitely heard before if you've been a part of any of mine, Neil's or Mike's seminars or anyone else, Tony Smith, Ron Cronin, so on and so forth. You've heard some of these before. Some of these you may have heard for the first time. Some of these are just good reminders. Some of these are, interesting ideas that you might want to implement, so on and so forth. So no necessarily order of importance. You decide what's important for you. But here's the main thing, okay? The main point of customer service that everyone needs to understand is what I'm about to. So write this, highlight it, star it, underline it, the whole thing. That is, there is a direct correlation between the income we receive and the level of service we offer. There is a direct correlation between the income we receive and the level of service we offer. To improve the income, improve the service. All right, so let's get back to that's the main point. That's the main thing you have to understand. Direct correlation between the income received and the level of service we offer. You have to improve the service to improve the income. And we're going to dive into a little bit of that, and we'll talk about that more on another day. But that's the main thing you have to understand with customer service. So I wrote down here next, make great customer service your obsession. And repeat and referral business will follow. Make great customer service your obsession, and repeat and referral business will follow. We get the question a lot with, the Jennifers of the world and all these other agents that come on that Neil does masterminds, and the Nancys and all these other different people. And they say, well, what do they do to get all this business? And they do a variety of different things. But one of the things is they get business from their database. And then there's always someone that makes an excuse. Well, their database is so much bigger than mine, or they just have a better database than I do. Stop. They have the same type of database that you do. They don't have more friends than you do. Maybe some of them, started here, so they have more connections or things like that, but not all of them did. Melinda is from Wisconsin, so she didn't grow up here. Variety of different people fall into that category. Nancy Dupre is from Canada. She didn't grow up here. So these people have the same database you do. The difference is the service that they provide their database. So that's where the repeat and referral business will follow. If you have a database and you think that, well, I'm not getting the same amount of business as Jennifer is from her database because her database is better. No, it's just that she works her database better than you do. And part of that is the service that she provides to her database. Make great customer service your obsession, and repeat and referral business will follow. How do I know that's the case? Put a 1 in the chat box or raise your hand. If you go somewhere, whether it be a restaurant, an insurance agent, anyone, that's not the cheapest in town, but you still go there. Neil raises his hand. Alexis says yes. Okay. All right. So we have 2 people listening. That's as exciting. All right. Shasha says yes. Noel says yes. Great. All right. Perfect. So if they're not the cheapest in town, and there's other options in town, why would you still go there? It's the service. It's the service that they provide. Look at, you can get a steak at any restaurant much cheaper than you can at Mastro's, at Fleming's, at Ruth Chris. Okay, or whatever the case may be. You can get steaks cheaper, but you go there and pay the $50 for the steak or whatever it is because of the service, the experience that you get when you go there. Make great customer service your obsession, and repeat referral business will follow. All right. Here's another good example of something recently. I mentioned this not too long ago. About a month or so ago, I went and got some new suits. Felt that it was time to upgrade a little bit. Mike Ferry's always in my head, right? Upgrade, Robert, upgrade, Robert, upgrade, Robert. So, hey, I'll go get some new suits. So I go to get some new suits. Nordstrom's is one of my favorite places. Go get some suits. I go get some nice suits, things along those lines, all these other different things. Now, there's a lot of other places. Now, there's a lot of other places than Nordstrom's that are much more expensive, but there's a ton of places. There's all kinds of places I can go to Nordstrom's that are much cheaper that could still get you a decent suit. But I go to Nordstrom's because when you get the suit, it's not just getting the suit. They then take you up to the counter, right? And they fit you. Oh, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Oh, right here, this is too big here. Let's get the waist. You're essentially, they're doing the whole thing. You feel when you're there. And you're spending, I don't know, $800 suit. So it's not the $1,000 suit. You spend maybe $800. You feel like you're a king or a queen if you're a lady. Okay. And then at the end, you get this really great suit. That's the service. So you go there and you go, gosh, I could get a cheaper suit somewhere else, but the service that I get by getting a suit here, top notch. So I'm always going to keep going there. Okay. Make great customer service your obsession. I wrote down here next, great customer service revolves around answering any concerns that they have. Great customer service revolves around answering any concerns that they have, doing what you told them you were going to do, and telling them the truth. Great customer service revolves around answering any concerns that they have, doing what you told them you were going to do, and telling the truth. Nowhere does it say great customer service revolves around me just talking about myself for 25, 30 minutes. So you want to provide great customer service. I've said this before, and some of you do this and you get great results. Some of you don't listen, but that's fairly normal. You want to provide great customer service to your database. Call every single person in your database and say this: I'm sure you've heard, read, or seen something about the real estate market recently. What questions do you have that I can answer? That's great customer service, that simple line. Why? Because every other agent that's calling them, every other agent that's mailing them, every other agent that's posting on social media is, look how great I am, look how great I am, look how great I am, this is what's going on, just shoving stuff down their throat, not servicing their thoughts. Be the one that calls them and lets them open up. I'm sure you've heard, read, or seen something about the real estate market recently. What questions do you have that I can answer? That's answering any concerns that they might have. Doing what you told them you were going to do. Does everybody provide a plan of action? When you meet a seller, do you provide them with a plan of action? Yes? No? Tess says yes. Tess and I are just having a conversation by ourselves. Tess, this will just be our coaching call. Abigail says yes. Okay. Do you do everything on that plan of action? All right.
Just being honest.
Honesty.
Thank you. Yes. Just being honest, Tess. Keeping it real.
Now, as someone who encourages people to send their pre-listing package to them, whether I coach you, whether I don't coach you, I don't care. I always encourage people to send it. How do I know you don't do everything on the pre-listing or on your plan of action? How do I know that? Anyone want to take a guess? There's one item in particular, and it's on a lot of yours. The one item in particular.
Door knocking.
What's that?
The door knocking.
No.
Oh,
The one, because actually the plan of action doesn't say specifically door knocking, it just says you're going to contact a certain number of people, which a lot of you will do. The one item that's on a lot of your plan of actions, and it's because you follow the Mike Ferry plan of action, and he hasn't upgraded this, is that you're going to fax a benefit sheet to all the other top agents in town. And none of you are faxing a benefit sheet to the other top agents in town. That's how I know. So do what you say you're going to do. So my thought on that would be, all jokes aside, look at your plan of action and then upgrade it or modify it to things that you're going to actually do. Because there's also stuff that you do that's not on there. Because Mike doesn't have things on there that you're going to get a professional photographer, you're going to do your own website, which you get as being part of the company. You know, if you're going to do any of this other stuff, some of you do drones and all these other things, that's not on there. So look at your plan of action and say, do I do all these things? And is there anything that I do that's not on there? So do what you say you're going to do. And then the third thing is tell them the truth. So telling them the truth would be this is, oh, no problem. We'll get this sold in 3 days. Now, could it be sold in 3 days? Of course it could. Should you tell them you're going to sell it in 3 days? No. Oh, we could definitely get your price. And you know that you can't. But you're like, oh, I'm just going to tell them that to get the listing, and then I'll beat them up. Do you think they forgot? Do you think when the listing's over, they're going to, oh, don't worry that you told me that you could get me 900 and we had to settle for 850. Not a big deal. You think they're going to forget that? No, they're going to remember. Tell them the truth, which means you might lose a deal every so often. Okay. Now here's another thing, telling them the truth. Telling them the truth might mean that you don't have a real deal. Here's a great example. Neil Schwartz. This is one of the greatest things. You want great customer service? Neil talks about this all the time. When you go to a listing appointment, ask the question, is there any way you can purchase your replacement property and keep this property? And some of you are thinking, well, why would I give them that option? Then I might lose the listing. Well, let's be honest. Can most people buy a replacement property and keep their existing property? No. So you're probably not going to lose the listing, number one. But number two, isn't that really in the best interest of the client if they can buy a replacement property and keep this as a rental? Wouldn't that really be in their best interest for the most part? Yeah, that's how we build wealth, right? We talk about this all the time. Is any other agent going to possibly lose a listing by giving them that option? No, no other agent's going to do that, but you are, and they remember those kind of things. Because you're showing here, I'm not here for the money. I am your real estate agent, which means I'm looking out for all estate needs. And my recommendation would be, if at all possible, you should keep this property because that's what's best for your real estate needs. But if you can't, I'll list it, we'll sell it, we'll get you a replacement property. That's great customer service. That's telling them the truth and not just walking in there going, oh, good, they could probably keep this property, but I wouldn't tell them that because I want the commission. It's a great question to ask everybody. I wrote down here next, great customer service requires regular communication. Whether it be a listing in process or a sale in process. Now, here's another thing on the plan of action. What does Mike Ferry say? How often you should contact the seller? On the plan of action, what does Mike Ferry say? How often you should contact the seller? Does anybody know the answer to that? Anybody want to take a guess? Am I talking to myself?
Weekly?
Weekly, yes. Iris, weekly. Now, in today's world, if you contact a seller weekly, are they going to be okay with that?
No.
No, no. So you have to upgrade that. People in today's world are not going to be okay with a weekly call. Hey, thanks for the listing. I'll call you every Friday. Excuse me? What do you mean you'll call me every Friday? I want to know what's happening tomorrow. I want to know what's happening the next day. So it's regular communication. It's not weekly. It's not 7 to 10 days. It could be daily. I wrote down here under communication, though, ask the client how they would prefer you to communicate with them. Don't assume people are okay with just a text message. Case in point, if you're ever working with me and all you do is text me, I will be annoyed. I want a phone call. I want to hear what's going on. Now, a text every so often is fine, but if all you do is text or and email me, I'm not going to like that. I want a phone call every so often. I want to talk to you. I want questions. Now, there are other people that are the exact opposite. They feel annoyed when you call them, so you should text them. But you have to ask the question, how do you prefer me to communicate with you? Would you like me to call, text, email? What would be best for you? That's great service. Regular communication in the way that they would prefer to be communicated with. I wrote down here, time block. Put in your calendar, time block time every day, or at least a certain time throughout the week that's dedicated to talking to your current sellers and buyers regarding their transactions, or if they're not in transaction yet, regarding their listing in process, regarding their home buying process, but time block it. Put it in the calendar. What time each day, or whatever days you're going to do it, that you're going to call your sellers and buyers. Wrote down here, use all of your service providers to create better customer service. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I harp on this a lot. But the reality is, sometimes providing great customer service is getting yourself out of the equation. Okay. Or another way I like to put it, sometimes being a professional means knowing when to hire a professional. So, case in point, the more you're involved with the lending, the better chance you're going to end up looking bad about something. So utilize the lender to help out with that. The more you get involved with the title process, the escrow process, or, Alexis, because you're in an attorney state, the attorney process, okay, different things along those lines. The more you're involved with the process, the better chance you're going to have a slip up and look bad. Let your affiliates, your assistants, your transaction coordinators, all these other different things, let them take over some of those responsibilities. Best case scenario, they do a great job. You look like a champion, even though they did a great job on their end and you focused on your end. Worst case scenario, they do a bad job. At least you have someone else to fall for it instead of you being involved with it. Okay. Wrote down here, very basic, right? Customer service 101, under promise, over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. Can you get the home sold? Let me ask you, Mr. Agent, can you get my home sold in a week? Well, look, there's certainly a possibility. The average homes on the market right now is 21 days. But based on my plan, there's certainly a possibility we can get it done sooner. And then you get it done in 7 days. And it's like, wow, look at that. We're going to list it at 850. And you know it's an 860 property. And then you end up selling it for 865. Got it. Under promise, over deliver. Okay. Your customers will appreciate that. Okay. Great customer service. Don't focus on the problems. Just focus on how to solve them. This is huge, huge for customer service. Don't focus on the problems, focus on how to solve them. What's the resolution to the problem? Here's what I mean. Calling a client and saying, hey, so, appraisal just came in and it's $20,000 below the list price.
Right. You made the
And then you just pause. That's not great customer service. They're already stressed, and now you just stress them out even more. You panic them even more. They're angry even more. And all you are is the person delivering bad news in a bad way. Focus on the solution. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want to let you know we just got the appraisal report in. Came in $20,000 below list price. But before we make any decisions, what I'm going to do is XXXX next. Okay? The solution, not just the problem. Hey, just want to let you know I reached out to the buyer. Looks like they're having a hard time with the loan. So here's what we're going to do. I got the problem. Here's the options and the solution, not just focusing on the, oh, no, this is what's going to happen. That's not what they want. They want someone who can solve problems. Anyone can create a problem. Only the best can solve them. They want someone who can solve them. Okay. When you list a home, tell them exactly what steps you're going to go through. Give them a copy of your plan of action and ask them to check them off as you accomplish each step. When you list a home, tell them exactly what steps you're going to go through. Give them a copy of your plan of action, and then ask them to check them off as you accomplish each step. Here is a wonderful tip if you want to create great customer service and real loyalty with your clients. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's my plan of action. Here's what we're going to do. At the end of each week, we're going to go through this plan of action and we're going to check off everything that I've accomplished. And if there's anything that I haven't accomplished, I want you to ask me what's going on with this step. Does that sound fair to you? Yeah. Okay, great. And then you get on the phone with them. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you have that plan of action that I gave you? Yeah. All right, let's go through this. Step one said that I was going to send this out to my company, correct? Correct. Okay, well, it went out on a hot list, blah, blah, blah. Step two says, and you just go through this and they're checking this off. Wait. Number three says you were going to fax a benefit sheet. Oh, no. We're back to the fax. But now they're involved in the process, because do most sellers think real estate agents are underpaid? No, most sellers do not think real estate agents are underpaid. They think you're overpaid. Most, some don't. And they think you're overpaid because they don't think you do anything. They took my listing, they put it on the MLS, they didn't do a damn thing, it's sold. Free money. Most sellers. Okay, here's an 18-point plan of action, and then we're going to go through it together. I'm going to tell you exactly what you did. Now they're starting to think, oh, wow. Okay, so they sent an email out to the company. Wow, you called 30 people a day? Jesus. Yeah, I made 150 contacts this week. Damn, okay, got it. This person works. Little stuff like that. Now, this is what else is really cool about that. It kind of holds you accountable to actually doing the things that you put on your plan of action. Because as we've established, you don't always do them. And if for some reason the home sells so quickly at a price that they love, and you only got through 5 of the 18 steps, are they going to be upset? Are they going to think, oh, God, I got ripped off. They only completed 5 of the 18 steps. My home sold in 3 days for $50,000 above list price. You're going to be ecstatic. But if it goes 2 weeks and you've only done 5 of the 18 steps, now you don't look good. Or 30 steps, or however many steps you have in your plan of action. Okay. All right, perfect. The highest level of service on a listing is to get the property sold, and the highest level of service on a transaction process is to get the transaction closed. The highest level of service on a listing is to get the property sold, and the highest level of service on a transaction is to get the transaction closed. A transaction meaning a buyer. That's the best service. Okay, it's about getting it sold. You could do all the things in the world. You could do a 50-point plan of action, do every single one of them. If the property doesn't sell, doesn't matter. You got to get it sold. Okay. I wrote down here next, encourage your clients to tell you what they liked and didn't like. It creates the opportunity for you to improve. Can you tell me what you liked about the process of working with me? Oh, I like this and this, this. Okay. And now be honest. What didn't you like? I need to improve. What are my areas of improvement? Well, I wish you would have done X, and then don't get mad. I wish you would have communicated more. Communicated more. I called you every 2 days and I told you this and that. Everyone's different. Let them tell you where you need to improve and then improve on it. Because here's the thing. They're not the only one that feels that way. If someone were to tell you, a client were to tell you, you know what I really like is I wish you would have kind of walked me through the escrow process a little bit more at the beginning instead of kind of step by step as we're going. I guarantee you someone else you worked with feels the exact same way. So take it as a, wow, okay, this is eye-opening. Let me fix this for the next one. But everything they say good, wow, okay, let me make sure I really emphasize that on the next one, because sometimes they're going to say something that you didn't even realize that was that big of a deal. Oh, I loved how you introduced me to your TC, you know, as soon as we got the listing, and in your head, you're going, oh, that's pretty standard. But to them, that was a huge deal. You never know. You never know. Okay. Wrote down here next, train your staff to ask for referrals every time they speak with your clients. If you have staff, an assistant, for example, train them to ask for referrals every time they speak with your clients. Might not be best if you're using affiliates. Don't have your title rep ask for referrals for you. But your assistant could, if you have a personal assistant or something like that. Personal admin. All right. Remember that customer service is a method of developing business both now and in your future. It is your residual income. Remember, customer service is a method of developing business both now and in your future. It is your residual income. Josh Barker, though some of you might know who Josh Barker is. He's up in Northern California, actually recently retired. Mike Ferry did a thing a couple years ago of his list of his Hall of Fame agents of the Mike Ferry, his career, 45 years of the Mike Ferry organization, his Hall of Fame agents. And the #1 agent he had on his list, the guy he said was, in his eyes, the best of the best, was Josh Barker up in Northern California. And Josh Barker was on stage one year, and he was talking about customer service. And he had a line I thought was really good. He said, customer service is the cheapest and most valuable prospecting method you have. Customer service is the cheapest and most valuable prospecting method you have. So you have to remember that customer service is a method of developing business both now and in your future. It is your residual income. Goes back to the very beginning of what I said. You know, well, my database just, I don't have a good database. It just means you're not providing the service that they're looking for. Because there's people in your database that are looking to buy and sell real estate, or know someone who's looking to buy and sell real estate. They're just not thinking of you as that top level real estate agent. It's all about the customer service. But I wrote down here next, customer service is not just during the transaction. Customer service is not just during a transaction. Customer service is before a transaction. Customer service is before they even know they're thinking about getting into a transaction. Customer service is after the transaction for years. See, we think of customer service as just during the process. No, no, no. It's pre, post. Okay. Do your clients call you whenever there's a real estate need? Remember, we interviewed Robert Kofer and Melinda Elmer. Neil interviewed Robert Kofer and Melinda Elmer. And Robert Kofer was talking about his clients call whenever they need a roof. Hey, who do you know is a roofer? Who do you know is an electrician? Who do you know is a plumber? He's their real estate resource for everything. They call him. Are you that person for your people? Some people have, you know, they might have sold someone a property 7 years ago, and they still receive phone calls from them if they need something. Now, those people might not buy or sell a home for another 5, 10 years, but when they do, they're going to call Robert, Mark, and Hal, so on and so forth. Okay. Couple points here. Remember, customers are your biggest asset. Treat them with respect. Remember, your customers are your biggest asset. Treat them with respect. This is pretty simple. Okay. Here's the simple way of treating your customer with respect. Don't pretend they're just a commission check. That's it. Gotcha. Got your listing. Good. Sold. Boom. I got paid. See you later. Never to be heard from again. You need help buying a house? Great. Let me email you some listings. Let me know if you like any of them. Oh, you do? Oh, you like that? Write up an offer. Okay, cool. Boom. Check. Done. See you later. Pretty easy to treat them with respect. It's just don't treat them like another commission check. Which is why some of you are going to disagree with me. That's okay. This is not the end all be all. We're allowed to disagree.
I disagree.
Armin disagrees. But there's a script out there that I don't like specifically for that reason. And I don't hear it a lot, but I hear some people use it is, I promised myself that I was going to help 20 people this year buy or sell a house. Who do you know that I can help? And I hear that script sometimes. And it's a script. You could use it. I don't like it because it seems to me that all I care about is getting a deal. Geez, I said somebody wasn't going to like it and they froze me. Man, I got to watch what I say around here.
That's a good point, Robert. I'm with you on that one.
All right. All right. Mic drop. Okay. Treat them with respect. Good job. All right. All right. Last couple points here, which is good. We're at 12:58 anyways. Be sure to say thank you to your customers often. It emphasizes their value. So here's what I would also recommend is thank them when they give you a referral. Thank them. Call them back after you've contacted the referral. Hey, we're going to go see properties on Friday. Thank you again. After they open up escrow, hey, I just opened up escrow for that referral you gave me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. When they close escrow, we just closed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then maybe down the road, you call, John referred you Jane. You call Jane. Oh, yeah, I love the new house. Then you call John. John, remember when you referred me Jane? Yeah. Oh, I just want to thank you again. I just spoke to her. It was her 1-year anniversary of being in the house. They're remodeling the home. They're doing all these things. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You can never say thank you enough. People love it. People love it.
Do you have to give them a gift? Like a Starbucks or,
Some people do. I've never really been a gift giver, but that was because I was always taught that the service of helping them is the gift. I know that sounds egotistical to some people, but I was just always taught that way. That what they really want is someone that can help them accomplish what they need to accomplish. Now, some people will give gifts and things along those lines, but I've never been a big proprietor of that. Doesn't make it wrong if you do, but that's just me. I tend to be in the keep my money business. Okay. Now, there are some people, though, to that point, Tess, I get this question every so often, too, as we get closer to the end of the year, or client appreciation dinner or something along those lines. And I know some people will do that. Jack, for all of his customers for the year, and anyone that referred him a customer for the year, will give him a pie. Drives pies around, say, hey, here's a pie. Thank you so much for the business, so on and so forth. So some people could do something like that. A little appreciation. But I found with most people, it's if you give them the thank yous and you do a good job with the referral, that's what they care about. I think most people's fear is really that I referred you a client and you screwed it up and you make me look like an awful person. Very good. Good stuff. Good question. Good question. All right. And then the last thing I put down here on customer service was whatever level of customer service you provide, and some of you provide amazing customer service, always ask yourself, what can I do to make it even better? No matter how good it is. Oh, what can I do to make it better? When we had Brady Sandal on a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about that, of what can I do to be the Ritz-Carlton of customer service? What can I do to be this? Always looking, no matter how great you are at it, what can I do to get better? There's always something that we can always work on. Questions on anything we went over today? All right, very good. I did a class a while ago about things to provide exceptional customer service. I'll find that and get that out to the people, out to the masses. But there was a whole list of items that I had about providing exceptional customer service, so we can go over that again too. All right, very good. All right, everybody, that's all I got.